I'm Clarence Mabey, and I'm the Associate Dean for Learning at Purdue University, and I'm the Director of the Institute for Information Literacy at Purdue. And it's one of the wonderful things that we do at the Institute is we've been holding what we call the EALS 2025-26 Speaker Series. And so we've been having some really amazing speakers, come and talk about their work, things they're researching or things they're doing in their practice. And I'm very excited, particularly today, because of course we had Professor William Badke, so Bill Badke, who is the Associate Librarian for Information Literacy and Associated Canadian Theological Schools at Trinity Western University. And Bill, is many of us probably know, is a leader in the field of information literacy and has published extensively on information literacy and the research process. It's just a real honor to have him be with us today and be part of the Ideals speaker series. I'm very appreciative. So I'm just going to today, Bill is going to share some of his recent work on fostering evidence-based mindsets in information literacy education. But rather than me tell you anything about it, I'm just going to turn it over to Professor Badke to walk us through his presentation. I did want to say one housekeeping thing. Please go ahead, and if you have questions along the way through Bill's presentation, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will try to grab them. And then during the question period after his talk, I will, try to make sure that everybody's questions gets to Bill. So please put them in the chat, and then I can relay them to him. Okay, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Professor Badke.
Thanks for the invitation, Clarence. I appreciate your work as well. And we've been involved together in the new Information Literacy Handbook that's coming out in the fall. Little plug for all of us there. I'm going to just share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, the title of this is Evidence-Based Mindsets in an Era of Information Confusion. I'm particularly concerned about the confusion. We live in a very, very information-confused world. Let me give you, first of all, a quotation that I think could be helpful to you, just to set the scene for this. It's a very common sort of thing, but I got this last fall from a student, and she was an adult student, which means she was over 25, so she was not a young student, more in the adult range. It can be very easy to be pulled into a world of misinformation and belief in nonsense. I have a hard time deciding what to believe in all sorts of areas in today's crazy world. I sometimes choose not to choose because of the stress and potency of the information shared. And that's reflective of what I've heard from a lot of students. This world that they live in now is very confusing. Now, admittedly, I have generated images from AI, and I'm sorry about that, but my graphic skills are terrible. I wanted you to take a look at this student in two different worlds, academic and real life. On the left, there she is at her computer, and you can see the concentration on her face, perhaps a sense of dismay or worry. On the right, she's on her phone. Notice the peace on her face. This might seem like an exaggeration, but I'm not sure how much of an exaggeration it actually is. I think there is a wall of separation between what students experience in our world, the academic world, the student world, and where those students actually live. Let me point out some of the challenges in our world for students. Scholarly, academic, peer-reviewed, are they the same? We throw out these terms all the time. We want scholarly resources, and next time we say we want peer-reviewed sources, or we want academic sources. The students are wondering, is that the same? Well, some of them are not quite exactly the same, but in the same general territory. But it's baffling to them. And I constantly get this, is this source academic? And it's a big problem. Why can't I use Google? I get that all the time. Your databases are so confusing. Why can't I just use Google and explain to them that only about 20% of all the scholarly literature is actually available full text on Google. And Google has a lot of mixed results, and you're going to have a lot of trouble discerning, scholarly works from non-scholarly works, etc. Next one, what does my prof want? Now, this one is a biggie. Project Information Literacy, which just announced that it's closing after 17 years, did a lot of study of student anxieties. And one of the biggest anxiety was, I don't understand the assignment. I don't know what my professor wants me to do in this research project. And they also followed up with looking at actual research assignments and found that many of them were fairly incomprehensible and didn't provide the students with the information they needed. But this is a big one. And it points to a mindset that's sort of got a lot of nuances to it. What does my prof want? Means the prof has power over me and I better do what the prof wants. Also, there must be some kind of set procedure I'm supposed to follow to do this. And also that this is a project that I really don't understand the purpose of. My prof is putting it on me and I'm supposed to do it. I don't really know what value this has, but I'm going to do what the prof wants because I want to get a grade. And so there's a lot of difficulty right there. Why don't I understand what I'm reading? Our director of research publishes a lot of material in the area of forestry and plant science and chemistry, and it's baffling to me. I try to read some of this stuff and I really don't know what it's about. Imagine the poor student trying to read scholarly literature and not understanding it. No wonder they're turning to AI summaries and things like that to try to make some sense of what they're reading. What's research anyway? I ask students regularly, why do your professors assign research projects? And after we get by the hilarity of, they're just sadistic, they hate us, etc. It's the way of getting their jollies by, seeing us suffer. Once they get past all that stuff, the most common answer I get is the professor wants us to study up on something in more depth that we couldn't cover in class, which is pretty alien to the purpose of research, which is, a problem-based inquiry, etc. And so students are not even understanding what research is about. And then the inevitable, how do I deal with AI? If your institution has a policy and guidelines, ours does, that can be helpful. Sometimes different professors have different policies. Students are confused. They don't really want to be called cheaters. They're tempted by AI and what it can do for them, to save them time and effort and anxiety, but they're confused about its role in their lives. On the other side of the wall is where the students live. And here's a little collage of social media. And you can see that, that's where they live. Google isn't on there, but that would be another one. And students don't really live in our academic world. They appear there, but they don't always live there. It's a rare student that actually sort of embraces academia and reads academic writing for pleasure, sees academic videos for pleasure. Most students, once they leave the classroom, once they leave the academic environment, are simply not involved in it anymore. They're involved in their world, which is a different world. In fact, here's a model that I think best explains what I'm saying. Our students are tourists in our academic realm. So they're trying to understand, they're even trying to function in our territory, but they struggle to belong. If you've ever been a tourist in a really different kind of culture from your own, you realize the language may be different, the customs are different, the way people comport themselves is different, the food is different, and they constantly feel like strangers. They may be welcomed by that society, but there's a sort of implicit understanding you do not belong here. And when they leave, they think, well, that was a good experience, but it's good to be home. It's nice to be where I belong. I don't belong in that culture that I just visited. It was fun to be there for a little while, but it really wasn't mine. And I think this is a tragedy because there's a distinction that is being emphasized between our world, the academic world, and the student world. And it makes them see our methods, our academic methods, as alien to their real life. Now, we have to admit the world of scholarship is by its very nature elitist. It is. And the statements I have there, for the most part, are not things that professors would actually say to students, but they are things that would be implied to students. For example, I'm the professor and you're not. Interesting. When the professor gets up in front of the class, the implication is, as a professor, I have knowledge and skills that you do not have. There is a power imbalance immediately, even if it's just that ultimately I'm going to assign grades to you. But it's more than that. The professor is someone who understands things that I don't understand as a student. There's this elitism about the professor. The literature of my world is specific and you must use it. This one is expressed out loud. No more Wikipedia, no more Google. I don't want to see a bunch of websites in your results. I want to see academic, scholarly, peer-reviewed literature. And often that is not properly explained, but it is set apart, it is specific, it is elite. It's not the kind of thing that you are experiencing in your daily life. Your work might imitate scholarship, but don't assume you are real scholars. Now, this one hurts, but it's true. Professors expect something like an imitation of scholarship in research papers, and sometimes a very pale imitation. But they're not calling on students to ever assume until they're up in upper graduate level that they're real scholars. Even graduate students often feel like, I'm floundering here. I'm trying to understand academia. I've been in undergraduate work, but I still don't. I had a student come to me one time and he said, can I have a session with you for maybe an hour or so? So we found a study room and he said, I've gone through undergraduate and I've come to graduate school and I realized I don't know how to do research. Nobody's actually explained how to do research. Now, this student was actually a pretty well-known student on campus. He was known as a keener, as a budding scholar, etc. But as I began to explain to him the research process and some ideas about how to start your research, how to do research design, etc., and we looked at some slides, etc., he got angry. And it wasn't at me. He got angry at his undergraduate school and the education that they provided him. And he said, why didn't anybody explain this to me? I've been floundering all this time. And in an hour, you explained a lot of the things I have never understood, even though I'm in graduate school. And so, work among students can imitate scholarship, but the assumption that they are real scholars is not generally made by professors. And then scholarly expertise requires years of study and paying your dues. I went to graduate school and then did my PhD, and then I maybe did a postdoc. And I've paid my dues. I've written the articles, I've published, I've been peer reviewed, and I've been a peer reviewer. You haven't done any of that as students, and it's likely that most of you won't. So there's this sense of alienation. And while academia doesn't want to create alienation among students, students are seeing it, they're sensing it. And I hear this from students, I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like I'm part of this whole enterprise, which of course is a shame. So the gap between the scholarly world and the students' real world is distinct and troubling. And I want to take a look at how we understand and remedy that gap. This is real life for students. Let's do a little bit of information literacy stuff for a bit. Once upon a time, information was scarce and there were gatekeepers. If you wanted to publish way back when, you either had to have money to do it yourself and print your stuff and market your stuff, or you had to find a publisher, someone who would pay to have your stuff put out. And the gatekeeping was done on the basis of two things. First of all, does whatever this manuscript hold actually represent the best of what we want to provide to the public? We have a mission as a publisher. We want to make sure that it's good stuff, it's quality stuff. So there's vetting done, there's investigation of it, and ultimately there may be a decision. Yes, this is pretty good stuff. But then there's the other consideration. If it costs to publish, then there has to be some kind of a reckoning of whether this is beneficial to us as a publisher. Are people actually going to want this and read it? If it's a book, are they going to buy it? If it's a journal, are they going to keep subscribing if we publish certain things that they're not interested in? And so gatekeeping had a really good purpose in many ways. It wasn't perfect, though. Editorial decisions, peer review actually did provide some benefits. There was some measure of quality control. It wasn't perfect, but somebody was checking this thing out before it got out there. And possibly even more importantly, there was a statement of the identity of the one or ones responsible for the published information. This isn't just naming the person, but actually providing some indication of the person's qualifications, where the person is as far as degrees or whatever, or institutions. So there was a way of trying as much as possible to make sure that the stuff that got to the public had been properly checked out and properly evaluated before it ended up in the people's hands. Now, the web ended the scarcity of information. Anybody who says today information is scarce is not paying attention. But it also ended the requirement for gatekeeping for the majority of what students encounter. Most of the stuff that they are reading or viewing or listening to a podcast or on social media has not been vetted by anybody else. It's just out there. It's been produced by people. And of course, it's been a grand tool for democracy. It's also been a grand tool for evil and for confusion. And so there we have it. But the two most common signposts for trustworthy knowledge actually move to the edge of this information world. First of all, the identity of the creator. Now, a website might name a creator. A social media post might name somebody, although it might not be their real name. But there isn't a lot of attention paid to who put this out. I ask my students regularly, when you're evaluating information, how much attention do you pay to the author? And they kind of look at me blankly, like, well, what am I supposed to pay attention to? It's as if this stuff came full blown with no author at all, or the author was some noted authority, and I don't really care who the author is. And we also lost external quality control, gatekeeping, for a lot of the information that's out there today. So this is the point. This is my first point of 2 or 3 that I'm going to have. We have left our students at sea by allowing a conceptual separation between our academic world and theirs. In our world, we prescribe what they're supposed to read and study. We have means of determining what's scholarly and what's not. In their world, they're on their own, grappling with information that is dodgy, to say the least. Sure, our academic world is flawed. We have bad research, careless use of data in research, retractions, which seem to be growing. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we're finding more. In fact, EBSCO is going to be introducing a feature that allows you to flag retracted results in your search results. So if something has been retracted, it'll have a label on it so that students can filter those out, which shows how important this all is. But we in the academic world do have something that is valuable, really valuable. We have a trusted set of methods for evidence gathering. We have methodologies that say this is how you gather evidence in this discipline. This is how you don't gather evidence. There are ways in which you can, by this token, determine whether the evidence gathering is fruitful or not. We have vetting through peer review. Peer review is under challenge today, and AI peer review has not been helping. I think AI peer review is an anathema to academia. It's absolutely the worst thing we can do. And if any of you are peer reviewers, stay away from the chat button and do your own review. A conversation that corrects and shapes research findings. We have that benefit as well. We have a community. Scholarship is conversation, which says that others will be looking at what we're doing, and they will correct us, we hope, if we are way off base. They will shape us. If our findings are not quite where they should be, someone is going to do another study that will, turn us in a slightly different direction. So trusted set of methods, we've got vetting, and we've got the conversation that hopefully enables our stuff to become better. Now, if these academic features are indeed valuable, and I believe they are, how can we break down the wall between our world and the student world so students can benefit from our methods in their world? Okay, let's look at an elephant in the room, first of all. The question, should we trust scholarship? A while back, I talked to a prospective student who was wondering if he should attend our institution, and it wasn't because he was wondering about our quality or anything. He was wondering because he had come to believe that all science was corrupt. Scholarship was corrupt. And he wasn't sure he wanted to be part of something that was as corrupted as the academic world was. And so we had a little conversation about that, and I assured him that this was not the case, but that there were challenges, and we were always working through them. The American Association of University Professors really was concerned about the drop in belief in expertise, the drop in belief in scholarship. And so they published a policy statement, Defense of Knowledge and Higher Education. And this is what they wrote, 2019. Expert knowledge and the procedures by which it is produced are subject to endless re-examination and re-evaluation. It is this process of self-questioning that justifies society's reliance on expert knowledge. Such knowledge may in the end prove accurate or inaccurate, but it is the best we can do at any given time. That is why we are largely justified in relying on it. There they said it. We are largely justified in relying on it. We admit there are flaws, but it's the best that we have in the world. In contrast, we have crowdsourcing and the easy availability of information. And this has led to something that I really believe has created a false belief that ordinary folks are now well equipped to do research and find truth. One of the phrases that I really, really don't like is the phrase, I did the research and I question, how did you do the research? What did you research? Were you locked in a filter bubble when you did the research? Are you equipped to do the research? So the question is now, if we believe that we are now well equipped to find out anything that we need to find out, do we really need experts anymore? Why don't we just rely on what we have? And we're seeing this all over the place today. We're seeing this in general society. We see it in governments, where the role of expertise is vastly diminished. This is also known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger effect is something that everybody should know about. Dunning and Kruger, if you're not aware of their work, did multiple experiments in which they worked with people in various kinds of skill sets, tasks that they were performing. And they investigated their skill level at those tasks and also investigated their view of how well they were able to do those tasks. And they're finding over multiple experiments became the Dunning-Kruger effect. You can Wikipedia it and find a whole bunch of stuff. But essentially it said, the poorer you are in doing a task, the more likely you are to greatly overestimate your abilities. So if you're not very good at something, you will overestimate how well you are doing at it. And this seems sort of counterintuitive, except that those who are not good at a task don't really understand the intricacies of actually being able to accomplish that task well. And so if you're an elite baseball player, you know how much work it took to get there, as opposed to a weekend player that hit a few home runs and you think now you're pretty good. The Dunning-Kruger effect says, chances are, if you think you're pretty good and you don't have much skill, you're going to overestimate your ability and think you're a real hotshot. And so this idea that we don't need experts, that we are equipped, that we are well able to do whatever we want, is going to fall on very hard times. And it has led many people to end up in filter bubbles, in misinformation, disinformation. And we're seeing the results in society with violence based on conspiracy theories, etc. People fall down rabbit holes all the time because they thought they were competent enough to face life and a fractured information world on their own, but they weren't. So this great gross misunderstanding is partly the fault of academia, and I think we have to blame ourselves. We have made our world of scholarship too elite. We're scholars, we have methods, but those don't belong in your world, they belong in our world. We did not define expertise and explain its value. A lot of people don't understand what is actually involved in having expertise. We did not explain why we want students to develop research ability. Sorry, I left the two out of there. We didn't explain that. Students often don't really have a concept of growing in their research ability. They have a concept of learning to do the steps. And we didn't really explain that students need to grow in their ability to do research. It just isn't coming across to them. We assumed that student research would always be weak, thus only an imitation of scholarship. So why teach method? Why spend all this time teaching method? We're just going to get garbage anyway. And I've talked to professors who are saying that. It's not worth the effort. We're going to rely upon what students are doing now. We fail to focus on the process more than the product. I could spend hours just talking about that. Higher education over the past number of decades has become a matter of deliverables. Our syllabi say, here are your assignments. Deliver me a research paper, deliver me a book review, deliver me, whatever. And students understand by this that I have a project to complete. And the most important thing that I need to do is to get that project finished and well done into the professor by the deadline. The professor reads the product, sometimes weeks after it's got submitted, makes a few comments and assigns a grade, and the student forgets about the whole thing. Deliverables are really not what higher education should be about. Higher education should be about the process, about how you produce that deliverable. And I've done a lot of thinking and work on that, but it's not a surprise to librarians. We librarians are process people. We know all about process. Sometimes when I'm answering a research question, I sort of get a little bit involved in the subject matter, but really I'm looking at, how can I help the student to get to the best path to find, the material that they need in order to address that research question. And I promptly forget what the subject matter was. The student will come back a few days later and say, you remember when I was asking you about so-and-so? Honestly, I remember the student. I remember a little bit about the process, but I don't remember what the subject matter was because we are so much focused on process. And so as librarians, we've got to think through, what does process mean in education? How do students learn how to do methods rather than just kind of by rote carry out a set of rules? Okay, let's take a little dark turn here. If you see that image, you probably are thinking of the Taken movies, if you've seen them. Liam Neeson stars as a retired CIA agent and tough guy, and his daughter is kidnapped in Europe, in France, and by human traffickers. So this is really serious, bad stuff. With his skills, he manages to track down who the perpetrator is, the head of the kidnapping ring, and he phones him. And he says to him, "You need to know I do have a very particular set of skills." And then he proceeds, and I won't get into the graphic details, but he proceeds to tell this kidnapper that not only will he rescue his daughter, but some extremely bad things are going to happen to the kidnapper and his entire ring, and it will not end well. Now, I want to focus on the I do have a very particular set of skills, because I think we as information literate academics have a set of mad skills that can develop an evidence-based worldview in our students. It's possible to take our skills and help our students to develop an evidence-based worldview in their world, not ours. It's possible to translate the methods of scholarship into daily life if, first of all, we play down the elitism. Don't leave the impression that these methods are only for us here in academia. They're not for you out there. Cut that out and focus on helping our students see their world in the light of investigation with evidence based on academic method. So if students can see their world as a path of investigation with evidence, then we are off to the races. So let's look at some steps. First of all, I think we have to rebuild the reputation of expertise. And you've got to talk up expertise. As much as people are criticizing it today, you have to elevate it. Let's look at the definition. This is how I define expertise. In essence, expertise involves the ability to demonstrate a mastery of subject matter, that's part of it, and to operationalize, very important, operationalize that subject matter in order to demonstrate a superior grasp of problems and solutions in a particular field. Operationalizing means that you take the knowledge and you do something with it profound. And then we need to explain scholarship. It is not stuffy people sitting in dusty offices reading books. It's not a person in a white coat holding up a beaker and thinking profound things. Those are all kind of alienating ideas. Here's my definition of scholarship, which is very different. Scholarship is about a profound discontent, about a quest to discover more, about a burning desire to solve society's problems and make a better world. That's what scholarship is about. Ultimately, it's altruistic. Ultimately, it's intending to make an impact on our world that improves it, so that when you leave this life, you leave it better than it was before. It's not about all the stuffiness. It's about really a quest, an adventure, an exploration. And students, I think, if we speak of scholarship in that way, can see the point. I created a Prezi presentation, What is Scholarship? And there'll be some links in the chat towards the end that'll include this. It's based on the ACRL framework framework for higher information literacy and higher education. And so it uses those threshold concepts and tries to consider what scholarship is in ways that students can understand it. We have to help our students understand that they have access to a method or a method cluster, more than one method, which has served as a primary verification tool for centuries. We've been building academia for centuries, and this is the kind of stuff we've been doing. A problem-based approach that seeks answers based on evidence. If you start thinking about, seeking an answer through evidence, you're on a different mindset from, oh, well, this made sense to me, so I believed it. Rigorous procedures for information gathering. How do I find out about this stuff? Tools for verification of claims based on properly found evidence. How do I verify stuff? And there are ways of doing that, seeking independent voices, etc. And then a community of experts who can check experts who can check one another's work. This is the scholarly community, which we can find in the writings, we can find in, even YouTube videos of scholars discussing various things. And so those are kind of the basic tools of verification that can enable scholars to determine whether they should believe something or not. Enable students to translate scholarly methodology into their world. First and foremost, determine the expertise of the creator of information. I tell students, always look for who put this out and try to find out what kind of education they have or experience they have, what kind of potential bias they have. And don't stop until you have some kind of a sense of who put this out and if that's possible to know. A resistance to easily accepting or passing along any idea or assertion whose nature is unique and whose author is unverified or suspect. So you get a new idea, your immediate flag should be, hey, this is a new idea. I'm not simply going to accept it. I'm not simply going to pass it on in social media until I can check it out. Or this stuff is coming from an author who's unverified, or I don't even know who the author is, or an author that I kind of wonder about because, he or she has said some dubious things in the past. So there's this quick resistance to easily accepting stuff, easily passing along stuff that is not quite where it should be. A caution about the role of filter bubbles. Algorithms throw us into filter bubbles on a regular basis. In social media, if I make some negative comment about something, chances are I'll end up in a filter bubble where everybody's making the same kinds of negative comments about the same thing. And I'm locked there in this world where everybody's my buddy, but nobody's dissenting. And if I am in that filter bubble and I, put a contrary view to what's being said, chances are I'll have 100 people criticizing me for ever saying such a thing. Get out of filter bubbles as much as you can. A plan to investigate uncertain or unvetted information, seeking other independent sources whose authors have authority. So make a plan to investigate stuff that doesn't quite match with what you should have. Here's a model for research. It's pretty simple. I think it works for most things. This isn't AI because I created this one. You start with a question, a problem-based question, you gather data, synthesize it, you analyze it. That becomes information, which is kind of like, vetted, checked out information, conclusions, recommendations. You can use this with students to say, here's a model for the way we can think when we're looking for answers to questions. Help students develop an evidence-based mindset. Why would I trust this creator? Why is mere plausibility not enough? It made sense to me, so, doesn't work. What evidence derived from methods I've learned in my studies is there for the assertions I am encountering? And what are the counter arguments? Always pay attention to counter arguments because you might find out that what you thought was true isn't. Who else outside of my silo filter bubble is asserting this? How qualified are they? So you're constantly asking these questions. And help students understand the power of confirmation bias, which is a big, big deal today. Scholarship resists relying only on existing beliefs to determine the validity of new phenomena. If something new comes up in the matter of research, scholars don't immediately say, well, this is new, it doesn't match with what I already know, so I'm going to discount it. They have a good look at it. Our students need to understand that reliance on their biases makes them candidates for entrapment in filter bubbles. Algorithms are forcing us into filter bubbles in dramatic ways. And if social media discovers we're interested in something, that's what we're going to get. And there it is. Brief rant. Let me rant a bit. Academia has reinforced a view that scholarship is an elite function performed only by recognized experts and invalid without peer review. They've cut students off from they've created a barrier between students and academia so that only in academia can students actually function in the way that we want them to. We've missed the opportunity to translate the methods of scholarship into the skills needed to address information challenges in daily life. So we need to help students understand the enduring role of expertise and trust it despite potential flaws. Trust doesn't mean slavish devotion. It just means that overall, we need to trust the experts. Emphasize the importance of the author and creator. Find out who put this out. Teach disciplinary research methods that scholars can enlist. So we actually need to be teaching these methods to our students. Show the value of reliance on more than one source, other sources being independent. And stress that scholarship is a tool for all life, not just the academy. What about AI? We always have to talk about AI. It obliterates the role of the author. Who's the author in AI? I don't know. AI steals from traditional knowledge. It actually feeds on traditional knowledge. It's anti-expertise, anti-used in the sense of instead of expertise, we get AI. AI must be checked out with independent verification for non-AI sources. And AI-generated evidence must always be rigorously investigated. Disciplinary factors. Each discipline has a distinctive set of research methods. Students need to understand how that discipline does the research, and specific disciplinary methods can be adapted to evaluating different kinds of information in daily life. Historical research may work great for one. Scientific research might work great for another kind of issue. I've got a LibGuide here on disciplinary enculturation, how to think about disciplines. So, a couple of brief examples just to end up this process. Someone named Q has begun revealing a far-reaching set of conspiracies. Ever heard of Q? Who or what is Q is one question I would ask. And the immediate answer is Q does not want to tell you who Q is, because that will mean that Q will end up getting killed by the people who are doing the bad stuff. If these conspiracies are so powerful, where is the evidence? Is it possible that a confirmation bias toward believing in conspiracies is influencing my embrace of Q? There's a question to ask. Am I so naturally suspicious that I've just bought into this Q? Is popularity of a view a measure of validity? If enough people believe something, is it true? What methods of scholarship could provide verifiability? Conspiracy theories are hard to address, very hard to address, because the conspiracy theory adherents, if they're challenged, will say, well, you're part of the conspiracy. Don't talk to me, you're part of the conspiracy. I know what I know. And so it's very difficult. Different kind of issue. First, science said coffee is bad for you, then good, then bad. What gives? Provide an understanding that science uses the best evidence available at the time, but is subject to revision given more evidence. A lot of people don't realize that, science will revise itself given evidence. This is absolutely normal. This is the way science works. Tell students to be cautious of news reports about scientific findings. I see this all the time, and generally the reporter tries to get it right but misses the point. And often the interpretation of a scientific finding is just way off. And I'm really frustrated because often there's no link to the original study, so you can't even check it out. Understand the way science expresses confidence or tentativeness in findings. Science is a way of saying, this is absolute. This is a 30-year study of 20,000 people on very fixed variables, and we can be reasonably confident that we are finally coming to a conclusion on this, or that this is a brand new thing. Findings are tentative, and there are ways in which science will do that. So here's the bottom line. We have a suite of methods for scholarship that students can enlist as they live in their world. We can train them how to use these methods. And I'm talking here about librarians. In our reference work, in our one-shots, maybe in a special session on how to address misinformation, we can begin introducing the fact that they have methods that they are learning about in their classes that they can translate into real life and use those methods there. So no student should be left with this conclusion, which was what we started with. I have a hard time deciding what to believe in all sorts of areas in today's crazy world. I sometimes choose not to believe because of the stress and potency of information shared. And cultivating evidence-based mindsets is a crucial educational goal of all information literacy instruction. We've got to get away from show them the databases and much more into how do I address information in my world, and list the methods, teach students how to use those methods, and get away from checklists and all that kind of stuff because they're really pretty basic. Help students develop an evidence-based mindset. And to end this off, and each of you will get a set of these slides or some works that I've either mentioned or referred to. So that's it. And we can now address questions. I'll stop my share.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bill. Let's see. First off, someone earlier, Mailey, asked a clarifying question. So maybe you could just sort of address that, which was when you said maybe it was 20%, but the question is there 10% available on regular Google search or Google Scholar? So I guess when you said that, wondering what
I've looked at a few estimates here and there, and I've done some checking myself. The regular Google, because of the open access movement, which is kind of hitting about 20% overall of open access stuff, about 20% of Scholar material will be there. Google Scholar, it depends. If students are going to Google Scholar through their library websites with a login, then they'll get connection to their own resources in their institution. But if not, chances are it'll be pretty similar. There may be a little bit more there because Google Scholar may pull out a few databases and resources that Google doesn't, but it's not a lot. And I think it's still around the 20% mark. It might have gone up to 25, but it's really not everything as far as scholarly material is concerned.
Right, got you. Okay. So Stephanie asks, let's see. I wonder if you could speak to how your work with students, you work with students to hold both their sometimes strongly held beliefs, as in their moral viewpoints, which may inform their biases, et cetera, and an evidence-based mindset at the same time, especially if the students views these two things as in opposition. I find this to be particularly sensitive and can be a fraught territory, especially at these times. Right?
Yeah, I do work with students in that kind of a realm. And the first thing I tell the students, this is something I tell them, but I also try to show them how to do it. We must always be questioning our assumptions. I work in a faith-based organization, and one of the tenets that we hold to is an unexamined faith is not worth having. So if we're not constantly examining what we believe, then we can never be sure that we're not just buying into something because we didn't question it. And the second thing is, even though you don't want to, maybe be open to considering some other points of view. Just read them, or just watch a YouTube video that contradicts what you believe, and see whether they have anything of value to teach you. The thing above all, when people are locked into their beliefs, they are really not in a situation of certainty because they don't know for absolute certainty that they are not just relying on what they've already believed, their confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a deadly tool for evaluating any kind of information because it says, I will not pay attention to anything that contradicts what I believe now. And so I work as gently as I can with that. I don't tell students, you shouldn't believe that. Unless, of course, if somebody says something really outrageous, I may say, I don't buy into that at all. But for the most part, I tell them, keep examining, keep thinking about that. Even if it just shapes your belief to be a little better, do something with it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Let's see. So because in your reference list, you have a prezi to one of your presentations, right? And someone asked if this is a very technical question. Can they use that on their LibGuide?
Yes, they can. And, I can, if they email me, it's just badkey@twu.ca. I can give them a link and they can use it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So perhaps a big question. What is your general definition of evidence?
Evidence is defined by the discipline that seeks it. Or in a general way, evidence is something that would have some kind of measure of consensus among those who are seeking it, that this is actually evidence. If you look at a criminal case and, someone has perpetrated a crime and, you've gathered your DNA evidence and your fingerprint evidence and, your eyewitness evidence and all of that stuff is put together. There's credibility there that should lead to the person's conviction. So, evidence can't be sort of simply defined as it is this or it is that, but it is something that a consensus of people who are seeking the evidence and who know about evidence seeking would say, yes, this is believable stuff. For a historian, that may be a primary source where, you get it straight from the horse's mouth as opposed to a secondary source, which might be a misinterpretation. In science, it's all the data and, how that's crunched. In social science, a little more iffy, but generally it would be something that the social scientists in general would say, yes, this works. This is evidential.
Okay. And the next question is, it says, this may seem like an odd question, but what disqualifies a source as lacking credibility?
Okay, there's a few things that disqualify the source. First of all, if it purports to be, scholarly academic, but it's written by somebody who doesn't have those kinds of credentials, I know that's elitist, but that would disqualify it. If, as you find, as you read it, you find that there are misinterpretations or radically biased views that do not comport with the data, that would be another way of disqualifying it. Sometimes it's just a matter of really poor quality. And we're getting a lot of journals now that are being published for the money that they get from authors, and the stuff is schlock. And of course, a lot of that ends up in Google Scholar, which doesn't help us at all. But there it is. So those are the kinds of things I would look for as disqualifying something. It's not that a popularly written piece of work can't be good, but it's got to advertise itself as a popularly written piece of work.
Great. Well, I have a question and I'm hoping I can form it well. So in the chat, there was quite an interesting sort of back and forth about these ideas around, elitism, right? You just mentioned, reminded me. So, and a variety of experiences around, sort of what people are doing in their institutions and whether they're taking a more student-centered approach or whether, they still see, which, I see a variety at my institution of, practices that I would associate with that elitist mindset, right, of scholarly elitism. But so do you think that that's shifting or changing in any way? Or what do you think?
I think we're becoming more informal. I ask my students to call me Bill, and you ask your students to call you Clarence. So, that informality does say something, but as well, most professors are looking for rigor. The word rigor immediately speaks to elitism, and often it's a very implied thing. In other words, I, as a professor, can be your friend. I will help you with your work. I may do formative evaluation, but I'm the professor. You're the student. And you're the one who learns, I'm the one who teaches. And this idea of learning together is not really catching on that well. And so there's always some measure of that elitism that exists. And maybe some of it has to. I mean, if you're just the pal of all the students, then how can you teach them? It's just not going to work. If every voice has the same power in the classroom, then nobody's going to learn anything. So, but I think it is improving. there's a much less formal tone. And as professors are moving away from summative kind of evaluation, turn in the paper, I'll grade it, to formative, where they're breaking the paper down into portions and they're providing commentaries on each portion, allowing students to resubmit, etc. It kind of turns into more of a buddy project than a professor and student kind of thing. And I think that's a better way of education by far.
Yeah. Let's see. So someone asked, have you, shared these ideas with faculty, and how did they, outside of our discipline, and how did they sort of respond to that?
I have in some ways. I've done a couple of workshops with some fellow librarians on guiding students in their research projects using formative analysis, etc. And I've tried to stress to professors, students need to understand, what they're actually doing in a research project, what is research design, etc. And so I'm trying to encourage professors to work more in a process kind of environment. This particular webinar is fairly new stuff based on old stuff, but so I haven't tried it out too much yet on my professors. The big fear I have is that they are so much focused on deliverables that it is really, really hard to have them focus much more on process and how teaching students how to do this work. And that's something that we have to continue to work on.
Okay, well, I think we're pretty much out of time, and unfortunately, there are some really interesting questions.
But if anyone does have a question, they can email me, and I'm happy to respond to it. Just badke@twu.ca.
Okay, thank you.
My boss is here, but he'll understand that I will accept emails like that and spend time answering them. So there it is.
Yes, we shared your email. So hopefully people who didn't get their question asked will email you, and you can follow up with them. And I appreciate you doing that. And I do want to say I very much appreciated hearing your talk today, and thinking. I mean, obviously we're really immersed in these things, and you're thinking through approaches and how we can move forward. So thank you very much for joining us today. Everyone's giving you a hand already, but
so you're very welcome.
Okay, thanks, Bill, and thanks
Thank
everyone.
You.